Okay, so nobody's getting the truth from the mainstream media, folks. It's well past time to open your eyes, your ears, and your mind. Do your own research because something isn't right here. And if you can't see that, you are not paying attention, folks.
It's the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order. A world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations.
So let's look at each one of these and see how we can get this down to zero. Probably one of these numbers is going to have to get pretty near to zero. Now that's back from high school algebra, but let's take a look. First, we've got population. The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
The important message that we need Australians to get vaccinated as quickly as possible. In line with that, I do encourage all Australians to please go and book your vaccinations as soon as you can if you haven't already done so.
Emma, get away!
When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
Okay, we need to stand up against this tyranny, folks. Stop giving away your freedoms and liberties, because the more you give up, the more these people will take until you have absolutely nothing left. That's their agenda.
Well, as that last line says there, Frank, the more you give up, the more they want. And aren't we seeing that now, folks? Good evening, and how are you? Sorry about Friday night, guys. It didn't happen. But yeah, we're here now, and we're back on. But let me say a few things, people, and then we'll get into it, Frank. Desi Freeman. Why Amber? Desi Cochran. We've had him on the show. He's him and Rocco have been down lodging papers in Canberra with the courts. Yep. And aren't these courts just so corrupt, Frank? Like, you know, me and Mel have fought that defamation case last week, guys. All right. We had our barrister and solicitor pull out 5 days before the hearing, had to handle it all on our own. The other party had something go on at home, an emergency, so she couldn't get there. So me and Mel actually proved them wrong on a couple of technicalities on the serious harm and the not being a producer. And the judge, and look, the judge was nice. She's bound by what the law says, okay? But the judge, I went off my head a couple of times in the hearing, but the judge, I said, well, listen, so you're telling me that Luke McKee can go out and say anything he wants anywhere, and this guy over here can leave him alone and sue the, supposed producer of the show, you're the host, you know what I mean, and the co-host, but leave that guy alone. And she went, well, yeah. Mr. Graham, yes. Our laws are fucked up, guys, all right? I know a person who a year ago was fraudulently billed 15K, right? Fraudulently billed, Frank, okay? Now, then, this month, he got a settlement figure of 80K. 80K. Hey, but guess what? Guess what he got today? Another figure. It went from mid-month at 80K up to 270K in a matter of 10 days. This is a fraudulent system. Yeah.
How do they justify that, Dave? I mean, what was it
Well,
based in?
this is the Australian law, Frank. You can do it.
Yeah.
It's bullshit. It's
Yeah.
just bullshit.
Completely,
It is
mate.
made for the criminals. Simple.
Yeah.
You know, and look, guys, I've been telling you for a while, and and Frank is and Caz is, okay? We're big believers in Yahweh, okay? In you know, the real God of this place. All right, Yahweh. All right, not Jesus, not, you know, like, and I'm going to go into this a little bit in the upcoming, guys, all right, because, you know, we've been duped and we've been duped big and hard. And I think that you're starting to see where it's going right now, because it's going to get crazy in the next 6 months. All right, they're going to push it. And I was just talking to Frank off camera. My opinion, guys, they have the deep state, or the devil has nothing to do but pull this last shot. All right, shut off your fuel, shut off your food. All right, and don't think you're going to be sitting at home with your fridge with cold tinnies. All right, sitting on the internet watching TikTok, because I guarantee you guys, you won't have power. Okay, and you won't have internet. So these guys have to make this work, and that puts them in a very dangerous, precarious situation, because they have to make it work. They can't do this again and fail like they did with COVID. Right? These guys don't fail. They fail once. They're not going to fail again. They partly pulled it off. They didn't get where they wanted to. So I hope everyone's just ready for a bit of turmoil, guys. And I'm not wishing it on you, but oil tankers are everywhere. They're everywhere around the world. They're still on queue. All right? They're still on the same transport lines that they were on. But, you know, we've got our government coming up going, oh, they're there. This is our government. They're there around the world, but the price is very high. You know, like, hey, we used to produce all our own friggin' oil. All right, and you shut us down with the Lima Agreement, you wankers. All right, and that's why we got shit now. Nothing. But
well, it is interesting with regards to that, because we actually have this one's been doing the rounds on social media.
Hang on, Kate, hang on. Oh, right. I was just going to say, and what are they doing for our fuel crisis? Like an Albo and his mates have got electric trucks up on the lawns of Parliament House today. Like, fucking give me a break. Sorry, let's go.
Yeah.
Well, that's right. Apparently he's ordering 12 jet fuel from China for the Easter period. But my theory is that, like, our question is, did he run out of petrol, or has he run out of jet fuel for his Air Force guys around it? Or maybe it's slowing down immigration and we can't possibly afford that. This is interesting. I've had a couple of these things now, and it says, mate, I can tell you one thing for sure, and I'm an engineer at the biggest refinery in Australia down near Geelong, and we have absolutely no shortage of crude process. We get our crude from delivered to Australia from 3 different places only: Singapore, USA, and Argentina. None of those places at all are in anywhere near this bullshit war. So, you know, he goes on to say, we had a meeting yesterday, and in the Seaboard future, there's a may rise. Singapore may decide to keep their crude oil for themselves because of what's going on in the Middle East. So we've had those. So it's very interesting what's going on. So
Well, wait, Cass, there's more. There's more. Guess where we're going tomorrow? We're going back to the moon. Right now, we're going back to the moon. It's just insane.
Now that's funny. Actually, you know, it's this whole fuel crisis, Dave, as far as I'm concerned. You remember the Clayton's drink, the drink you have when you're not having a drink? Well, this is the Clayton. Yeah, this is what we're having. This is our fuel crisis. It's actually the Clayton's fuel crisis right now, right?
Well, there is this one as well. There's somebody's put here fuel shortage, no manipulation. So chatted to a friend who transports fuel for BP in Victoria. BP currently, as of today, March 22nd, have 3 of their huge storage tanks full of fuel. They have 2 fuel tankers in the dock and 1 fuel tanker on the way. It costs them, BP, 90 cents a litre to bring the fuel in. Jacinta, our caring Victorian Premier, takes a whopping $2 per litre in tax.
Yeah.
Plus, Albo says halve the fuel excise, apparently. Now, I don't know. It hasn't been properly confirmed. but that's what I've heard. Well, he can stick these fuel consumption up his clacker.
What do they do, Frank? They, the normies out there be going, oh, wow, look, he's giving us like 18 cents a litre off. Man, we're winning. Like, yeah, really?
Yeah.
Well, all I know is this is waking people up. Like this, people are waking up in droves, and they're waking up really angry. And you can say, first of all, shout out to our people. This is them bailing up Kyle.
Are you guilty by association during the COVID times in pushing the vaccine, Kyle Sandilands? Are you guilty, yes or no? Yes or no?
Go, Rocco.
Are you guilty by association? Sorry. Carla, the wheels of justice turning faster for
Anyway, shows Jackie there a little bit later on. But we'll just skip by that because we have, we have basically a lot of stuff to get through. Let's have a look at the fuel since we're on it.
Wake the fuck up. We're buying into this. Australia's the best country in the world. Mate, maybe it was 20, 30 years ago. Have a look.
Aussies, you should be furious about this. This is Malaysia. Even in the midst of everything going on, the fuel is cheap. Because they actually use their system to help people.
Yeah, that's right. $1.15. And watch this next bit on diesel. We haven't seen these fucking prices in fucking 15, 20 years. It's disgraceful.
In Sarawak, diesel is about $2.15 a litre, 80 cents Aussie. That's crazy. And meanwhile, in Australia, a resource-rich country, you're paying more than double it.
Now, what's happening is people are actually waking up to the realization that we are a resource-rich country and that we're getting ripped off massively. And it's about time. Like, I mean, we can jump up and down, but now that it's hitting people's hip pocket, everybody's like going, yeah, why the hell? So the narrative is completely shifting.
Mm-hmm. But the thing is with that, Caz, tools down. Can you imagine? Because you think of all those resources, right? Iron ore and the whole rest of it, right? Once Australia decides tools down, well, then we basically starve the beast because where are they going to get their resources from? You know what I mean? Like,
look, I'm not too worried because we're in such a good position.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. No, I agree.
We have got so many people speaking up. Like, let's just go through them. You've got this person talking about the farmers.
As resource-rich as Australia end up putting its farmers into a fuel and fertiliser crisis.
Normies are basically taking to Twitter, taking to social media. They're just everywhere. I can't even keep track of them, You've got this great one over here. Oh, actually, let's just go with the flow of the show. So you've also got Wes Fang. So you've also got this one here that they're calling for lockdowns.
New Zealand could see energy lockdowns within 21 days. This is from 2 leaked reports. Well, one of them was leaked, one of them was published today by each government.
So that's what they're planning on doing. They may try, it may even succeed for a period of time, but the good thing about it is people are getting to the point where they're just so angry. You've got Wes Fang, who's in the Nationalist Party. I think he's actually from Wagga, Wes Fang.
The Sandy Lane project has 70,000 litres of diesel being trucked in per day to supply those generators and supply the machinery on that site. Now, 70,000 litres of diesel could power about 700 tractors on farms across New South Wales. The question is it better that Sandy Lane and these renewable energy projects, which are not delivering a single watt of power to New South Wales, get that diesel, or is it better that New South Wales farmers get that diesel so they can plant their crops and feed New South Wales in the next coming years? Mr. President, that's the question that we're asking on this side of the House. The Minister hasn't addressed that at all. The Minister simply glossed over it.
So, people, I've seen people, even politicians are hitting social media and they're speaking out about it. Now, so you've got them powering that, using those diesel generators to power the plants, the solar plant. Now, this is something I didn't know until today, but it doesn't surprise me because we know that they built back doors into the chips that they use in the phones as well. But have a look at this.
Revealed that the Chinese who manufacture virtually all of our solar panels, both in the United States and Europe. They have been installing cellular radios inside the inverters, which can act as kill switches. And you might think, well, that sounds like a conspiracy theory. Not a conspiracy theory. There was actually a Chinese solar company that turned off the solar panels and sent up a little message to its users saying we've turned this off because these solar panels are only authorized to be used in certain countries. They can't be used in Pakistan, the United States, and a few other countries. It popped right up on the monitor.
Are you waking up yet? Really? Yeah.
The thing is now with all these politicians, right? They know they backed the wrong horse now, Caz. So they're in a panic, So now they're realizing. Yeah, mate.
Most of them, they got any authority or any position. They knew what they were doing, and now unlucky guys fucking deal with it.
You know what they say? Tough titties, mate. Tough titties.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and it's just a mess as well. Like, I mean, this is why I'm thinking, I keep thinking this is all scripted. Like, because is God scripting this in the background, playing it out like this? Because look at this next story. Now, this is what a clown show it is, like, realistically. So, Moira Deeming. Now, remember in Melbourne when they had the lockdowns, it was Moira Deeming was one of the people who went onto the streets with the protesters and provided them cover. Because remember the police were attacking the protesters? It was Moira Deeming. She was basically out there in Melbourne with the protesters, giving them cover so that the police would stop attacking the protesters in the lockdown. And anyway, so Moira Deeming has just lost her pre-selection to Dinesh Goricity. Okay, now the crazy part about it is he got his pre-selection.
Get the Indian twang. Goricity.
Anyway, he's basically so they've sidelined her for him, and then he can't take it because he provided a character reference to somebody who pleaded guilty to pedophilia.
Of course he did. Of course he did.
You can't make it up. Yeah, of course he did. Exactly.
That picture says it all.
You can't just it's just like it's just a constant clown show, and then of course on top of that now they're trying to sneak through the cashless stuff. They're refusing of the cash. Anyway, but look, we've got this guy's put it really succinctly. This is another newbie. People are popping up everywhere, guys.
Country, watch this.
The state government, meantime, could have a home soil solution to the fuel crisis with plans to fast-track an untapped oil reserve. The Taroom Trough project in Western Queensland could be the largest onshore oil opportunity the country has seen in decades.
Apparently now the prices of petrol's gone up. They found oil in Queensland.
What about the big reserve we're sitting on in South Oz? It's huge, man. Huge. Like, come on.
No, of course it is. And then, of course, we're still importing people, and look at this footage here.
8 bids will take, all done, finished and silent. We're going to sell it away. 956, selling, sir. $500, sir.
So you have that, and then you've got this guy. Look at how he puts
Alrighty,
it.
who else agrees? Australia is not really Australia anymore. It is the land of the foreigner. I don't give a shit what you say. This is no longer the land of the lucky or the land for the Aussie, because I tell you what, we are taken over by foreigners, and you cannot tell me any fucking different. It's an absolute joke.
Yep, the normies.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is.
They're finally scratching their heads, mate.
It is, but then you've got people like Kangaroo Jack, who was on the sort of like this. He was on a different side anyway before, and he's coming out and he's saying this.
Tell you straight from the heart, an Aussie is an Indigenous person, an Aboriginal or a Torres Strait Islander, and an Anglo-Saxon Australian, a white Aussie. That is an Aussie. We are Aussies. That's what you call an Aussie. I don't care if I offend anybody. And you know why I'm confident to say that? Because I have ancestors that went to war with white people, And white people have ancestors that went to war with Aboriginal people. So you think we're just going to accept people that have been living here for 20 years, 30 years, live here, have children, but still hold their country's ideologies that they don't want to go back to? They won't go back and fight for them. But they'll protest in Australia. Immigrants will protest in Australia about the country that they could easily just get a flight to, or get a flight near to a near country and fucking somehow travel over there. But they'll protest here like they can help them. No, but you can't help them, and therefore then you're not an Aussie. You're against this country. We need people that are all in for this country. Right, and I'm not saying Indigenous people and Aussies are always going to agree, because we're fucking far from that. Right, but right now, this country needs unity, and we need to get on the same page, otherwise we're not going to have a country anymore. So to people to say, oh, but they're born here, they're not immigrants, they're born here. Well then, if you're born here, stop using your flag, stop crying for your country that your parents ran away from.
Yeah.
It's good to see Kangaroo Jack is actually, he's a bit controversial earlier, but he's obviously, picking up the vibe and realising what's going on.
Yeah.
Well,
good on you, Jack. Well done.
100%.
That's why I keep thinking, is this scripted? Because more and more the division is getting like most people, like there's so many people now, people that I thought would never, ever jump on the same page. And they're on the same page. Not always.
You know what it is too, Caz, is our Indigenous brothers and sisters realise that we've been fighting for them as well.
Yeah.
It's and
half of
it's
us have got relatives that are Aboriginal.
That's exactly right.
I do.
Yeah. So we've been standing up.
Yeah. No, that's it. Now, there's this very controversial story that I find really quite disturbing, and this is out of this is Brian Tamaki from New Zealand, and he's put it out, this story out. Now, what it is that there's an Indian immigrant called Baltesh Singh, and he has basically masterminded one of New Zealand's most significant drug running operations. He has family, according to Tamaki, he has family ties to the assassination of an Indian Prime Minister. His uncle was a radical militant Sikh serving as a bodyguard who killed PM Indira Gandhi in 1984. And he's basically saying that they are targeting the Maoris and the Pacific Islanders and everyday hardworking Kiwis with drugs and alcohol. He's saying that they're basically destroying families. Now, what disturbs me about this is very, we know from the opium wars in China, we know that this is, we know the fentanyl issues. So this is very militaristic tactics, and it is very interesting because it coincides with this little India that they want to name in Victoria.
Yep. Really pissed me off because the shoe was on the other foot over in Mumbai. There is no way that the Indian government would be giving $1.2 million to rename a part of that city Little Australia. Why? Because they know that India is for Indian culture for the Indians. Right? China know that China is for the Chinese culture for the Chinaman. America is for American culture for Americans. And Australia is for Australian culture for Australians. Right? And then you get all these leftist retards come out and be like, Sam, Australian culture is just beating your wife, is it? No, dickhead. No, dipshit. You listen here. Australian culture is mateship. It's lending your mate a hand. It's not allowing any other bullshit cultures to come into our culture. It's protecting what we have. It's strong borders. It's freedom. It's living in a sunburned country. It's loving your nation and not burning your flag, not talking it down, being proud of who you are and where you come from. That's Australia. Right? It's punching well above our weight on the global stage in sport. It's punching well above our weight on the global stage in our military. But Australian culture, with our first Indigenous Australians, was built off English law. Anglo-Celtic origins from Europe, in which our Anzacs got on boats, left this country for a whole bunch of years, fought and died for. That is Australian culture. And here's a bit of advice for anyone that thinks any part of Australia should be renamed to Little India. Grab your shit, put it in a bag, and book a one-way ticket and get the fuck out of my country. Because Australia is for Australian culture, for Australians. What's your thoughts?
Well, the
Exactly
Freemasons.
what you just said, Sam.
Yeah, and the Freemasons can go with them.
Yeah. Yeah. All secret societies, Frank.
Yeah, all of them. All of them, brother. All of them.
Well, it's very interesting because I've cut up a short, but it's not compatible. I must have saved it in the wrong format, and I've been looking at military history, and it's crazy. Like, it is absolutely crazy. Like, one of them was that they were unable to break our code. The problem is we didn't have one. So, Franco, even like Franco, if I said to you. If I said to you, if I was basically talking to you and I said, what was it? Bluey needs a durry before the next bash. Would you know what I was talking about?
Yeah.
What is it?
You want a fag before the next bash?
Yeah, that's right. Before the next fight, but you know who Bluey is? Bluey's a redhead, isn't he?
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like, but the
He's
thing
a
is
ranger,
that,
mate.
yeah, a ranger.
Yeah.
So they
Love
couldn't
you,
actually-
rangers. I tell you, hey, sports people with red hair, man, they got another talent, Frank. Most of them that you played soccer against, Frank.
Yeah.
If they were a
Oh,
ranger,
yeah.
you kept your eye on them, bro.
And I'll tell you the other thing. I don't know, mate. They used to have. They got an engine under that body of theirs, mate. They can run all day. Yeah.
No, I agree, mate.
So that was one of them. So in the end, what happened was they brought in American code breakers to break our code that we don't actually
We
have.
didn't have one.
And we didn't have one. So then what they did was but after they produced this like 140-page document, then very quickly what happened was the Australians thought it was so hilarious that they started changing the words around. And then within a month it was out of date. So they tried again. And then in the end, they decided, look, we can't because Australian language is organic and we don't have inflections. So you don't know when we're being sarcastic or not. We just basically say it deadpan. And so then what they did was they decided, the Allies thought, well, every time we go into battle with these guys, we're going to have an interpreter, an Australian in command center so that they know we know what they're talking about. The Japanese actually said, oh, no, we've just given up. So they just wrote it off. And another thing and the one that I cut off tonight was the one about the Australians when no psychological warfare worked on them as far as like extracting information and interrogation purposes. And that's because they just naturally they thought everyone is equal, and they actually thought, these people are beneath me. So that was a treatment of the interrogating officer. But also they actually wrote, they said they will comply. Okay, and tell you absolutely nothing. For example, one guy was saying, what's the size of your unit? Yeah, pretty big, mate. Not a bad bunch of blokes then. So how many? Oh, a few. So, and they actually wrote, they seemed to comply without giving me any information. Another guy in Vietnam, they showed him photos of these girls at protests. And he goes, oh, this is your countrywomen protesting against what you're doing here. And he goes, oh, good looking Sheila's. Emma wouldn't mind being there myself.
Exactly. It's how we are, Caz.
Yeah.
I know.
I miss it. I miss it.
Yeah, but the kids still do it. Like the kids at school, if they figure out that you figured out what they're talking about, then they'll actually change tact and they'll actually use other words instead. Yeah. So it's still alive. So yeah, no. Look, guys, go to YouTube and go and listen to them because that's what we need.
It works.
We need people.
Yeah, because we usually leave people gobsmacked. Go back to when I got arrested with Ben Fordham, and they shut the tape off, and I told you what I said. Hey boys, you want to shut me up? Get a bit of brass, the bullet, and take me out because it's the only way you shut me up. But look on their faces was just priceless, absolutely priceless. They couldn't believe what I was saying, But hey, that's the Aussie way. We don't give a fuck.
No,
that's it.
Because that's how we roll, Dave.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It is.
So Now, I've seen this one out. I put this out on Facebook earlier on today. Poll shows Australians blame Donald Trump for fuel crisis. I actually don't believe that. I believe that this is another one of their bodgy polls. So, because that's not what one of the things that you become very good at is reading social media, and that is not what the social media is saying, and especially when it's reached the young people, when they've reached the young people like this one here, they've lost.
But I note some of the photographs in the Daily Telegraph today of multiple jerry cans being filled up. That's not the Australian way. I don't want things to be mandated, but common sense should apply as well at what is a global issue.
Albanese, you've made sure Australia is divided. When people call it out, you label them dark forces. And now you want to lecture us about the Australian way. You don't get to define that, mate. People aren't filling up jerry cans and panic buying for no reason. They're doing it because we don't trust the situation, and that comes back to your leadership. It comes back to you. And right now we're facing the risk of fuel shortages and the supply chain collapsing. But instead of addressing it with clear solutions, you're holding press conferences that imply Australians are somehow the problem, that they're selfish for trying to prepare. That's not good enough. Australians aren't the ones being selfish here. We're responding to uncertainty, to lack of confidence, and don't hide behind the idea that this is just a global issue, because here's the question that
We'll cut her off there, but oh my God, do you see what I mean? We've so got this in the bag, guys. So there'll be a spark, there'll be a trigger that'll go.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but we've got it because everyone is so angry. They're waking up, but they're waking up angry at the moment, and that's awesome.
Oh, it's about time. Yeah.
This is why they're going to push so hard to make this work, guys. Right? These guys don't fail. All right. The only failure they've really had throughout history was COVID.
Yeah.
Everything else has gone perfectly to plan.
Yeah.
And if that had gone perfectly to plan, we'd be half a world population down by now.
That's exactly right, Dan.
I just think that what's going to, I'm just so confident. It doesn't matter. They can try and lock us down, which they're obviously going to, and that sort of stuff. They can try, but how did it work out for them last time? It doesn't matter what they do. They're going to lose, and I think that they know that.
Oh, yeah.
And here's the comment, Caz. You know how long have we been preaching this, mate? And Steve Lindsay just hit it on the head. Gen Z. I've
asked you guys to get into AI. They're all using AI to win this battle. So,
although did you see that Facebook has been snapped?
You've got it. Hey, Frank?
Yeah, was it last week that Zuckerberg is now up for half a bill?
Class action.
Yeah, class action.
Yep.
The metaverse.
Yeah, no, he's not the only. He's actually not the only one as well. There's Bill Gates.
Well, they were all except TikTok and Instagram. TikTok and someone else was smart enough to deal with it before it got to the court. And TikTok, Meta, and Zucker thought they could take the courts on.
Yeah. Well, you've got this one as well. You've got Bill Gates is going to have to testify next year in the Netherlands. He's been indicted. He's been indicted for lying to the public about the COVID vaccine. He's going to have to go to trial. And so you've got also this situation here where is it? Okay, so that's a very obscure document, but what it is that CIA files reveal plans to brain damage and kill American people by covertly poisoning vaccines, food, and water with deadly toxins.
Yeah.
Now, is there a conspiracy theory that we have been wrong about?
Who'd have ever thought? Caz, come on. We got some sort of a perfect record here. I reckon we all should start getting tin foil and making a hat, and we ought to start wearing them in public. You know what I mean? With a good.
Oh, look, I agree.
Well, we've got to have a tinfoil hat competition, I think. Who can make the most prettiest tinfoil hat?
Yeah, Joe, hey, man, I'm tired of hearing from dead people. Relating to Bill Gates,
Yeah, no, I know.
Hey, Jade and Greg, how are you guys? Love you, man.
Yeah, but it's a case of, it doesn't matter. It's like Netanyahu. It's obvious the guy's wearing a mask. It's obviously, but it doesn't matter. They need the character still there. So they just, and we've had the girl, her name slips my mind at the moment, but she was Biden's chief of staff, and she's just basically admitted that she was the auto pen half the time because, and she said, "Is this legal?" And she was told, you just have to do it. This is for the good of the country. This is how they told them, it's how they sold it to her.
Well, they need their reach as well right now. That's the thing. A lot of the people like the Tuckers and all the rest of it, they've got a massive reach. So they've used them.
Yeah, but the thing is, historically, there's well documented cases throughout history where they use doubles. They all use body doubles, so... Anyway,
not
but
us,
that's all right. No, not us.
Or maybe.
All right, we've got this situation just last week. We've got the Navy. Of course, the Navy's been renting boats from the NAB. Might leave that for another night. And then you've got shout out to Carl Stefanovic for hosting the boys to get this.
Seems to be a fair weight of corruption going on, and nothing shits me more.
This is costing us $52 billion per year, and it's projected 2030 to be $100 billion.
The Australian military costs between 55 and 65 billion.
I mean, when I dug into it, I was like, how does it spend more money than Medicare?
You guys are prepared to do time in the clink?
Oh, 100%.
Of course.
We don't want to go to jail, but if the Australian government decides to, go after us for trying to expose it, then we will accept that penalty.
It's affecting every single Australian. And the people at the top of the government, they're all trying to essentially ignore it, sweep it under the rug.
All right, let's go.
Good
as
on
much
him.
as Carl is an absolute flog. Yeah, thanks, Carl. I'll say thank you for getting the boys on there, mate. Well done.
I agree.
That's it. We need people with the kind of reach that he's got to be able to, because I know that some people love him. So he's
got a lot of the normies in his pocket. So
that's it. Now there's look, we have to get on to this whole war thing. There's some really interesting data points that I've noticed. And I keep hearing this ridiculous thing that Trump's just he's a Jew and that he's basically Jew. But if you actually look at what he's doing, he's actually dismantling a lot of the power behind the Israeli base. Now, if you actually look at the power that Israel has with AIPAC and everything else over the United States, they had a lot of power. That's actually been very almost not completely dismantled, but certainly very weakened. You've also got stuff like this coming out now about Benjamin Netanyahu. So out of his mouth, he actually admitted to funding Hamas.
Oh.
Via Qatar.
Wow. Really?
Surprise, surprise.
So there you go. We've been right, we've been even sort of been right about that. Now, there's also, apparently Trump's, everyone's talking about the boots on the ground. They have got a real issue with it and all that sort of stuff. I've actually looked into this, and what I think's going on, I think Trump's going after Carg Island. Carg Island, for those of you that don't know, is a little island. It's not very big at all, and it's used for mainly the oil. That's where the oil is put onto ships and shipped off. And it's an extremely valuable geographically as well. So, and I think what he's doing is, I think he's going to take Carg Island. I think that he's definitely sent troops there. But I don't know that it's going to be boots on the ground in Iran. In fact, I'm actually a bit suspicious that he's going to take Carg Island and secure that to stop the Israelis from grabbing it, because they will want it, to stop them to be able to hand it back to the Iranians or the Persians. They're insisting that they be called Persian now. Then you've also got this really interesting situation where, so you've got that, but then you've also got this Jelani in Syria, and he's basically ISIS, and it was during the Biden presidency that he basically came to power. You've also got all of this narrative, and I see this as narrative seeding. Okay, when you see stuff like this, about the Aramaic Christians. You've got a lot of videos on social media today about Hamas, basically in Syria, and they're killing Christians, etc. So I see that as narrative seeding, and I reckon that if they do go there, I think that they're going. I don't think they're going into Iran. I really don't. I think what they're doing is they're actually going to sneak attack on Jelani, deal with that situation so Assad can return. That would bring peace and stability to the area. That will also defang Israel.
Yeah.
So
Israel will be left to last.
It is being left to last.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And now if you look at what's going on, see this whole Erica Kirk situation as well. Now, if you look at what Candace Owens is doing and also Baron Coleman, those of you who remember the Nixon situation with Watergate, you had Woodward and what was the other guy's name? Woodward and anyway. So it was basically it was basically two journalists who got onto this. Now we know that one of them is actually naval intelligence now.
Yeah.
However, they got a hold of this story. They wouldn't stop investigating. And what happened was it ended up bringing down the Nixon. Now, if you look at how this is going, so Barron's doing something on the technicalities, and then Candace is coming over with this, and there's all this basically revealing, and it's looking very much like there was a certain little country in the Middle East that was involved in it. Yes.
And you also had where Nixon was heavily, the whole Elvis thing is very closely connected to Nixon, right, as well. And Trump just recently came out of Gracelands, right? So,
I didn't know that.
Yes, just recently. Yes, it's almost like they're shining the light on all the pieces. Yes.
Bernstein, thank you, Richard Harris.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, Richard's on the ball. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks,
so,
Rich.
Most of our viewers are on the ball.
Yeah.
But what gets me really, I know that I'm wondering if a lot of this hasn't already been done, and there's a couple of reasons why I'm thinking that, because there was today 20 oil boats coming through, and Trump just said, and I'm just going, what? And then they're talking about he's going to have a 4-front war. No, this man would not have a 3-front war. He would not be doing Cuba. He wouldn't be doing Cuba, Mexico. What was the other one? Colombia. And then no, that's not how he does. Well. No, he wouldn't be doing business like that because he understands. He wouldn't be fighting. Hitler did a 3-front war, and so did what's his name, little guy. But so he wouldn't be doing that. Now, and then you've got this situation here. So you've got this is the AfD. Alice Weidel declares Germany is finished with the climate crisis. We must declare the climate crisis over. The whole thing is a hoax, a complete scam to crush the industry. They've also voted in the EU to start mass immigration deportations.
Well, with the fuel too, he's actually starving NATO. They've got no supply unless they suck up to Putin. But that'll come with conditions anyway.
Yet, all the oil tankers are still en route for all the scheduled drops that were scheduled even 6 months ago. Nothing's changed. All the carriers are out there. They're carting fuel. But hey, we've got a shortage. Why? Because the stinking mainstream media is doing what they want, what they do best. Bullshit. To us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, now the other thing about it is that we know from Susan Kolkender that she has taken that Trump has defanged the globalist banking cartels out of London. So that's all been dealt with now. It's just basically systematically cut them down, which is great. Also, you've got these stories that are coming out, and I'll just play a bit of it. We've covered it briefly, but this guy covers a bit more.
This is not a conspiracy. This is the new Jimmy Savile. UN security staff trafficked 14 and 15-year-old girls out of Moldova into Bosnia during the war, chained them up in a nightclub for the exclusive use of UN staff.
What do you mean that chained them where?
In cages in the nightclub. They were sex slaves trafficked by UN staff. Certain aid workers prevented families from entering refugee camps unless they handed over a child for sexual favours.
So you can go on the record and say that the UN knew about
this,
yeah, and they were covering it up.
Yes, absolutely.
Do you think this goes all the way to the...
That's coming out now.
We're all in this together.
It's coming out now, though.
Yeah.
Like the thing is, it's all coming out. So, which is really like, I don't know. It's just like
The
we just
tide's
did.
changed.
That's
The
right.
tide's changed, Caz.
But the thing is that, like, I mean, I'm just so look, I don't know what's going to happen, but I just know, reading the room, that look, Australians will take it, and then something will happen, and that's it. They're done. And I
Yeah.
can just see that we're just prior to the powder keg, to the snap. We're done. That's it.
Yeah. It won't be long.
No, that's it. All right. We've got a bit over time. So, Franco, if you'd like to have some final words, Dave, if you would like to wrap up and close the show. And, guys, we're being taken out by a hyena. Guys, hyena. You're going to love
cool. Look, at the end of the day, I mean, what's more to say? You got to stand up, Australia. You got to starve the beast, and you got to stand up and be counted, right? And it's our time to say no to the lot. Basically, tell them to fuck off, all of them. Anyway, that's it. That's my parting tale. And don't forget, lean on the Lord. He'll get you through it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but, I've done all right in life, guys. But I tell you what, I've been wrong on a few things too. A few things I wish I'd kept up when I didn't, and a few things I wish I'd dropped when, I shouldn't have kept up. But I'll tell you what, the last 6 years, just, thinking back there, this is probably the first time in my life that I've been accurate and on everything. You guys out there, and, screen included, I'm talking to the viewers and all. Guys, we've done magnificently, under all odds. Look what they've put us through, and they're still trying to. Look what I've been through, guys, and we know government induced, you know what I mean? But guess what? You fuckers, we're still here, and we'll be here tomorrow, and we'll be here the next day. So, yeah, sit on that and spin. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, old crow. Yeah. Good night, guys. Love yous all. Cheers. Bye.
Cheers, mate.
Did you know I once bought a dog from a blacksmith? As soon as we got it home, it made a bolt for the door. Oh, man. Hey, Eddie, I accidentally sprayed Axe body spray into my mouth. Now I talk with an accent. Hey, Eddie, have you heard of the new movie called Constipation? Hasn't come out yet. Eddie, do you know I have a fear of German sausages? I always fear the worst. Oh, man.